Once upon a time, there was a girl named Kiernan who was struggling to find a research topic for her project about trees in cities. Every day, she tried to focus in on what she was passionate about and how to connect it to current problems. She was distracted by the protests taking place all over the country, especially in DC, right next to her in Arlington, and in Minneapolis, where they began and where she has so many friends. One day, she read an article which connected trees and crime in Baltimore and learned how much work they're doing on planting trees. It struck her that trees could reduce crime, an idea she never thought of.
Maybe with all this talk of defunding the police, urban forestry departments could get more money to plant and care for trees in underserved and over-policed communities.
So, she formed her research around trees' effects on public health, how neighborhoods encourage or discourage crime by their design, and how people form important social connections outside. She researched, she trained for her interviews, and then performed them with real urban foresters to learn more. Kiernan was surprised to find that a lot of people knew about this trend and were already talking about it.
So you're saying I didn't discover this idea all on my own? For real though, my conversations were super interesting. Like, most people said something either to the degree of, we make sure to maintain the trees so crime doesn't increase. Or, most people think that trees increase crime, but if they're well maintained, they can actually decrease crime. And some of the latter gave reasons for that, whether it was like, I think a couple people mentioned increased mental health. One person mentioned giving jobs to previously incarcerated people, like to help them get reinstituted in society, basically, when society puts up so many roadblocks for previously incarcerated people. And then another person brought up bringing people together so that they're closer, and then also bringing them together outside so they're closer to the place that they're in. And I just love that idea that trees can make people healthier, that it can help people rejoin the world, and can bring people closer together. I just love that. But then, of course, we have to keep having these conversations to understand how more people are thinking about this, because that'll help us give better suggestions to scientists and urban foresters for new practices, better policies, that kind of thing. So I'm very excited. I have been talking to my mentors and just reached out to the Environmental Studies Department chair today to try to continue working on this in an independent research course in the fall. And my mentor mentioned that he prefers to have people on for a year, so maybe I could do it as a course in the fall and then keep working on it and then get paid as a researcher, like an undergrad researcher, in the spring, which is insane and very energizing. And just to think that, like, this research program, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into doing research. I never thought that I would want to do research, but that's because I thought it was in a lab, and this was not, obviously. But just to think that I've like found my niche, or that I could have found my niche, is incredibly exciting. So, and it also makes me super pumped to spend a couple days in a forest just surrounded by trees. So, until then.